before we dive in, let's talk about why this session is happening right now. So as everyone knows, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is just around the corner and it's crunch time. So the most successful brands are already warming up their audiences, they're building anticipation, and they're getting their influencer content ready and anything around influencers. So if you haven't started yet, or you're worried that you might be a bit late, you're in the right place to catch up and make this Q4 count. So the key here is to leverage what you already have, your existing influencer relationships. You don't need to start from scratch. So we're gonna just you're gonna make the most with what's happening right now. And so with introductions, we have Sam here. He's the co-founder of Augmented Media. Sam and his team specialize in building authentic, performance-driven influencer partnerships, specifically for health and wellness brands. They work with big names like Lululemon, Nestle, and Fuzzy, and helping them scale their influencer programs. And today he'll be sharing all of his knowledge with us. So welcome, Sam. I'll let you guys do a small introduction in a second. And then we got Atif. He's the founder and CEO of Refunnel. We call him the big boss, the OG, a bunch of different ways. Refunnel is a platform that's revolutionizing how DTC brands collect and leverage user-generated content as well as influencer partnerships, right? So in just over 1 year, Refunnel has onboarded over 700 brands, including brands like Divi, Ovi, Carnivore Snacks, a bunch of others. So yeah, before we get straight into this, Sam and Atif, you guys want to say something? Who you are? Just a small introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep it really, really quick because I think that you've given me a much more complimentary introduction than I did myself. But really, really young agency, been around for kind of just under 4 years now. And what we realized very, very early on is that most influencer marketing is very fake, very like, hi, I love this product. I'm not sure if I can swear. And so a big thing for us is like, well, how do we make sure that?
Sam, I don't know if this is only me, but I don't know if you have your microphone maybe inside of your.
1 sec.
Yeah, it was going down and up a little.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that was it. Thank you, Sheriff, for all the share.
Appreciate it. This better?
I
Better.
think yeah.
Yeah, is that better, guys?
It seems though. Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. All good. Yeah, so I'll start from the start, but really young agency, been around for just under 4 years now. Realized very early on that most influencer marketing is very fake. It's very like, hi, I love this product. You can tell people don't really give a shit. And so right from the start, right, cool, how do we build programs where influencers genuinely like the product, would tell their family and friends about it first, and then amplify it on socials? And that really took off. So yeah, now working with brands all the way from startups raising their first investment to brands like Lululemon, Nestle, who are some of our larger clients.
Beautiful. Atif, you want to do a small introduction?
Yeah, I'm Atif. I founded Refunnel just over a year ago. I think it's been 17, 18 months now. And we wanted to come into the market with a very disruptive perspective. My background has been building B2B SaaS. I was working for Microsoft before building Refunnel. And when I came into the industry, I realized that there is just a lot of bloated, very expensive software solutions in our category. And as a product builder, there really wasn't any justification for why these products were so expensive, other than the fact that they had very bloated organizations and they just needed to, support their teams with that cost structure. And so we came in, provided a very disruptive solution. Refunnel starts at $199 for what brands are charging thousands of dollars for. And we've had the privilege of seeing brands execute their influencer programs, both from the 0 to 1 stage and from 1 to end stage now. And I'm eager to share some of the insights that we have learned over the past year and a half on how some of the people in the audience can also manage their programs more effectively based on the learnings we've had over the past year and a half. So yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Atif. I'll just break down how this is going to work. So it's going to be divided into 2 sections. So section number 1 is going to be just questions around the subject. If anyone has a question, you can drop it in the chat right now. And Jessica, who's also here, she's going to be just making sure that all those questions are answered. And then if we did not answer those questions, we can make sure that those questions get answered after the webinar. So we're going to start with rapid fire questions. I'm taking the time here. Each one is going to have 2 minutes. I'm going to stop you guys because we know that these things could go on and on and on. But yeah, so let's start with you, Sam. Just tell us, how have you felt that the influencer economy or the influencer stage has changed over the last year or 2 years?
I think that's a really, really exciting time for influencer, to be honest. Like, I know your question's 1, 2 years, but even go back to 2015, 2016, influencer was always looked at as a brand slash top of funnel slash kind of like equity channel. And I think we're now starting to see that brands can actually drive performance through the influencer channel and are treating it slightly further down the funnel and are building out strategies with kind of influencer at the forefront. So I think that's really what we've seen over the last kind of 1 or 2 years. We're also seeing a bit more maturity in the channel, which is great in terms of influencer prices, while still being a bit of the Wild West. They are standardizing a bit, and brands are also understanding the importance of influencer and the trust that it builds. So yeah, really, really excited with like where we're at. I think really, really interesting to see where it goes as well, obviously with the introduction of AI creators and AI videos. So it took us 11 minutes to get into the webinar before talking about AI. But yeah, I think really, really interesting to see how influencer evolves and kind of leans more into authenticity when you've got the opposite coming through tech innovation like that.
Yeah, beautiful. That makes the total sense. Let me just rewind the clock. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen from 2018, 2019, how it has evolved. And also one thing that I definitely want to talk about later is how influencers and just content creators in general have a lot more leverage in how much they get paid, how they get paid, and all of those terms than 2 years ago. And so this is a perfect segue into Atif. Atif, you've grown this brand to your company to 700 brands in under 2 years. I think that's a testament on what's going on with influencers. What have you seen throughout these past 2 years that makes you think that people should be super bullish on content creators and also influencers?
You know, when I came in earlier last year into the industry, a lot of those early brands that were working with Refunnel, they were very interested in just working with like bigger creators, like these macro creators, typically the ones with like over 100,000 followers. And it was like all pay to play. They would be paying thousands of dollars in some of these cases. And it would just be very expensive to execute a program at scale when there is so much fees involved. I think what Sam and others have since pioneered in the industry is this model of product gifting where you work with nano creators, you work with smaller creators, just send them a free product and then gauge their interest, see if they even like the product. And then if they start posting content, you know, the content is interesting enough to warrant further collaboration with those creators where, you know, those big fees can be justified. I think then it makes sense. But I've seen a huge shift over the past year and a half in more and more brands that are coming to Refunnel, including bigger brands like Rich, TV, and who have you. They just want to collaborate like with micro creators and nano creators and do it on a product gifting basis. And then that's the foundation for how they develop the rest of the programs that becomes, you know, that ladders up to more performances later on. But yeah, that's been like a huge shift.
Yeah, that's amazing. And one of the things that I definitely want to mention here is that specific change in the how can I say, the behavior of brands and how they went from going from super big influencers to understanding the power of maybe not having the biggest audience, but then there's trust inside of that audience and people buy from those influencers even if they're not a super big name. So with that being said, I know there's a bunch of brands here. Some of them might be just ready with all of the influencers, but some of them might be wanting to leverage the influencers and they might not have the time to go with the biggest influencers and close a deal and contracts and payments and all that stuff. What's something that brands that are here right now could implement in the next 30 days so they can have something solid for their influencer strategy in this upcoming Q4?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you two. One is something that I talk about a lot with our team and with our clients, in that influencer, particularly gifting with nano and micro influencers, is incredibly similar to selling to consumers. The fundamental is you need to find what is my unfair advantage as a brand. Why would an influencer partner with me? Similar to like, why would a customer buy from me? And then have that shine through in your communication with influencers. What I mean
Yeah.
by that is like when we go to outreach influencers, we obviously work with brands of all sizes. Outreach for a brand like Lululemon is very, very different from a
Mm-hmm.
startup family-owned business. And you can lean on different pillars, i.e., we work with everyone or we have no budget to get different outcomes and to kind of make the most of the program. The second point, just around like what brands can be doing right now, you're probably running out of time to do test and learn before kind of like Black Friday in particular. So it is just picking out what are the key insights that I have until now from 2025.
Like if you're
and
gonna
really
host a
double
web
down on
event, you
them.
should.
Wait, let me just mute that. Jess, can you help me muting if there's something comes up like that? Beautiful.
But yeah, all good. I mean, it was basically just going on to say that.
Right.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
let me just, oh, wait. I'm sorry. Let's see. All right. All right, we should be good to go.
All good. Jen, I think you muted me as well, which is great.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Yeah, I mean, basically, it comes down to doubling down on what's working, and that might not necessarily be influencer insights and doubling down on what's working in the influencer channel, but might be understanding, okay, here's what's working on Meta for us. How do we then take those angles and run influencer collaborations with in the same vein? So yeah, again, comes down to just understand what's worked and double down from there.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All right, Jess, I'll figure that out in a second. If you have a question, I just want to remind you that the second section we're gonna be helping out any of you guys that want like specific advice on that. So if this is you, just be aware that this might be just for one or two people max. So just drop it in the chat if you want to be that person. Atif, I saw this case study with Frostbuddy. And what they did was they seeded their customers and then they let their customers do the content creation process. I mean, the creating content, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, if I got something wrong here. But would you say this is a strategy that brands could use right now, the ones that don't have such a big budget to put into influencers, into content creators? And then what are the pros and what are the cons of a strategy like that one?
Frostbuddy was in a very fortunate place where they have a big list of they have a giant customer list. They have like customers on TikTok Shop, they have customers on their own D2C channel, they have customers on Amazon, and they never have to struggle too hard to find like creators that are within their customer list, right? Because
Yeah.
they're just revealing themselves by just organically posting about them. And they executed this campaign with us a few months ago where they just reached out to their community and said, just post about us, just post anything that you like about us on TikTok, on Instagram, and we'll pay you a CPM based on the impressions that you generate with us. And long story short, they ran this campaign for a month. They had over 150 creators slash customers participate in this campaign. They generate over 150 million views as part of this campaign. The total cost of this campaign was around $7,000. Now, just to give you a perspective, back in the day, you could pay Facebook $7,000 to generate those number of views. Those days are gone. Frostbuddy would have probably spent 10 times more to generate the same number of views with paid media that they were able to organically generate through their creator community. And so that was a great example of how more brands should be thinking about nurturing like communities within their customer list and really making them feel like part of a movement, like part of something special that motivates these people to become content creators as well.
Yeah.
We have seen several other examples like that now. Rich has also executed similar campaigns to spectacular success. And I think that just speaks to like the power of like that building that community.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And do you know how much this, like, there's one thing is impressions and then the other thing is sales, right? You could have a bunch of views, but you don't get a lot of sales. And then one question that I always had in my mind was these, like the clients, the customers who are doing these, this post, the content, they might not be super talented UGC creators that understand how to script. They don't understand how to do the correct shots. They don't understand all of this. What did you see with Frostbuddy? Did the content perform? Did it not? And then most importantly, did it generate sales?
They generated over 100K, 105K in sales. A lot of that was just attributed on TikTok Shop because TikTok has like this built-in mechanism for sales. They were not really doing affiliate codes with other creators, so they were likely like more sales than they accounted for. Um, I would also say though that sometimes there can be over brands can over index on like direct measurement and direct attribution. Influencer marketing is very, very hard to sometimes, to measure sales. Even if you have like the most efficient affiliate program in house, it's really hard to know what's actually driving sales, whether that was that affiliate or whether that was like Honey, a code getting leaked to Honey and they taking up all the sales that the creator took credit for. Like I do think the right way to measure influencer results, sales is definitely one of them. But sales is an output to the right inputs, right? And so if you are organically generating like lots of good impressions, and if there is a way for you to verify that those impressions are valid, they are not boosted or fake or paid amplified by fake bots, I think like for a lot of brands, like the optimizing for that input will return the right outputs for them. And just doing that is very, very essential.
Yeah. Just to jump in there, what a lot of our brands are doing that are on the larger side, and I do think this really only has a place for brands doing probably 50 mil plus annual at the moment, is seeing really good kind of attribution through their MMMs. We're currently seeing across the board with mixed marketing models that influencer performance is around 4 to 5x what you're able to track through links and codes, which is a crazy, crazy multiple. But I think, yeah, just a side note that if you are a brand of that size, MMM attribution can be incredibly insightful in terms of when I do X, I get Y out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
totally.
makes total sense. And like Atif said, there's one thing the sales, and then the other thing is the amazing and incredibly big halo effect that something like this creates. And you cannot measure that, but it's earned media that you get at the end of the day. So I want to get super tactical now. I want to go into, and I'm going to start with you, Sam, but I want people who are in this call to have a very, very clear blueprint as in what they need to do. And this, I'll give you an example. So let's put, there's a brand that has 0 influencers right now. And we want to tell them like, okay, go into this tool to find the right influencers, then do this brief, and also the thought process behind it. So if you want to walk us through like what's one very fast strategy that any brand could implement, maybe even today, right? Maybe they finish work at 5 p.m. and they have 3 hours left of work, and maybe they want to start planning this out. What do you think is a good way to do that?
Yeah, really good question. I think like without further context, it will come down to like, can I amplify my customers? Atif's already mentioned it. But the one thing that you can do no matter what size you are as a brand is build really strong relationships with customers who are creators themselves, and work out, okay, like what is it that I can get from them that I can then utilize to drive performance. And whether that's a small brand working with very real, very authentic customers to drive as much content as possible to then amplify on ads, or whether that's a larger brand that maybe has a large database of influencers who are already customers and negotiating better rates for paid partnerships than you would otherwise, or working with them on a shoot for content, partnership ads, whitelisting, etc. The number one thing that any brand should do is take a look at your customer list and work out like, what am I missing from here? Because often that is the low hanging fruit, despite me hating that phrase.
Yeah. Atif, do you think there's a possibility, or I guess my question here is, For a brand like Frostbuddy that did what they did with a big customer list, what do you think is the smallest customer list that could work for a strategy like this? And if you think it doesn't work without a big customer list, what do you think is something that brands would implement today that they could maybe execute this weekend and then launch on Monday?
I think for new brands that are just coming up that obviously don't have like a great customer list, the number one thing to really take care of, and everything takes care of itself if you have this in place. Like you've got to make sure you have the right product that people love. Like, do you have friends that love the product and are giving you like the right feedback on it? We work with several brands that come in the market. Mitogrow is one of these, as an example, if you guys want to look it up. Totally new brand. They're crushing it with creators because it's a product that is solving a genuine problem for people, and people that are getting their hands on the product seems to love it. We also unfortunately work with a lot of brands that sometimes are eager to like test with influencers, and it just doesn't work because they don't have the right product, and that's a very hard feedback to give, and that's a very hard feedback to accept. But I think you just got to be honest with yourself before you invest too much into that journey. Do you have the product that's worth talking about? But I would say though, if you do have that in place, product seeding is really one of the best ways that you can sort of leverage creators, especially micro creators, and get them
Yeah.
talking about the brand. So what Mitogrow has done, the brand that I was just mentioning, is as part of their launch strategy, they're sending their products to like hundreds of creators. And these are not bigger creators, these are smaller creators. They're making sure that these creators are aligned with the product that they're selling. Um, just a tip for everyone, if you are looking to find creators, let's say on Instagram, I would not recommend looking into any paid tools that are out there. Just go to Instagram Creator Marketplace. That's a free tool that's available in the Business Manager. It's become remarkably good over the past few months. There's a real effort that Facebook is putting into it, and it's free to use. But I would just recommend finding the right creators for your brand, for your niche, and then just like sending them a nice DM and just being really nice and say that, hey, we love your vibe, we think you'd love this product that we're about to launch, can we send you a free sample? And just over a month or so, like if you do this for a month or two, you would have like enough of a um, network to start getting content from, and then hopefully that becomes the foundation that you can start building your paid media strategy and amplify that content further.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And there's one question that I want to ask before going into obviously the next one, but I have follow-up question with that. So you said you can send your product to 100 people. Frostbuddy sent it to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Let's talk low AV, low AOV, and then high AOV. What can a brand? I mean, I'm gonna assume that this is for low AOV brands that can just seed products like it's nothing. What can a product that has a high AOV do to do something with their influencer program? Sam, can we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So really good question, because across clients, we work with brands that have like a 15, 20 pound AOV or $15, $20 AOV all the way up to kind of like hundreds of dollars.
Mhm.
And it all comes down to like every strategy will just come down to deep versus broad. For a lower AOV product, very simply, you're probably going to do more scale with number of influencers you partner with. You're probably going to see less content per influencer, and your goal is like, how wide can I spread? How many people can I get talking about my product? For a higher AOV product where cost of goods starts to become a bit more of a limiting factor, you potentially don't want to be sending kind of like 500 or 1,000 influencers every month like some of our clients are doing, and instead you deeper. So you want to be building relationships still on a scale, again, depending on budget, anywhere from like 25 to maybe 100 influencers a month. But then you actually want to be investing more time into building the relationship with those creators and
Yeah.
working out, okay, like how can I work with them deeper, whether that's through paid amplification, whether that's through whitelisting partnerships, or even just general kind of like content for gifting. I know a lot of people talk about seeding nowadays, and seeding is still the backbone of a lot of our programs. But there is a very unique case for high AOV products where just content for gifting can work incredibly well for low cost content creation. So yeah, I think it all comes down to just like how deep do you go with creators and versus how much scale in terms of quantity of creators you work with.
Yeah, 100%. I just saw a newsletter, I think a couple of weeks ago that Refunnel did, and they talked with this guy called Norman. He has a TikTok shop agency, and he said that the what brands are getting wrong right now is they're treating influencer and just in general content creator relationships as a trade-off, right? So I give you money, you give me a video. I give you money, you give me a video. And what he argues is that that is I'm gonna say wrong. And the best way to do and to find those great creators and to find those great influencers that actually connect with your brand, that actually perform, that actually want to do the videos, even when a launch is super soon, is building that relationships. And one of the things Norman says is you need to go out to play pickleball. And the argument he has behind this is that like creators are people too, creators have feelings too, creators have their own friends too, creators have their own lives too. And when you go into their space and you actually and they feel like they are being seen, that they are being cared about, then there's reciprocity there. So Atif, what would you say, like going back to the question on high AOV, what's one way that you think that brands could use that brands with high AOV could implement influencer or content creator strategy without burning just their inventory and their budget?
One of the things that was surprising for me as I entered the industry is, my initial expectation was that influencers just work better with like a low AOE products because you can see that scale and just see like the benefits of that. I've been pleasantly surprised by how well seeding can work even with like products that are on the higher AOE side. I'll give you two examples. Hexclad. Hexclad spends over 50,000 a month just seeding creators. That's an expensive product. In some of these cases, the product bundle that you get from Hexclad can be over $1,000. But they're still like okay seeding that to the right creators because they feel they're getting the right impact out of it. And they're just measuring impact by impressions and then EMV, like how much media value are they generating from all these campaigns. Another example I would give you, which is even crazier, is Plunge. Plunge is like this cold plunge brand that you put out in your backyard. And their product pricing begins at like $5,000 plus. And they also do they don't do it at scale, but they also do enough of seeding where I was like pretty surprised by how well it was working even for them. The one thing I would mention with these creators that you are, for high AOV products, it's really like what I've seen work really well is a strategy where you're seeding these creators, but also you also have like whitelisting as part of their contracts. Creators don't often get like expensive products. So when they do get one, they feel extremely delighted with that. And they go out of the way to create better content for them. And that content typically also performs really well when you whitelist it from their pages. So for those in the audience that don't know, whitelisting is this act of boosting content from the creator pages so that you can get better return on your ad spend. And there's like a very, very strong correlation that we have found for products that are on the high AOV side and then the results that you get from whitelisting them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think there's a beautiful connection between the two arguments, which is uh, the power of relationships when you're not only when you're doing low AOV, but the importance when you're doing a high AOV product. Those relationships and just being very close to the influencer or to the content creator is gonna take you a long, long way. And yeah, there's one question that Parth asked that before I answer it, Parth, are you down for us to help you? Are you good with just opening up your camera, maybe your microphone, and just giving us some feedback on that?
Not going through the light, bro.
Let's see. Oh my God, let's see. I think the people who are joining, Atif, I'm sorry, let's see. All right, so if you can just drop that in chat, I'll do the next question and then I'll figure out this this situation out with the microphone. So let's see, what's a brand just launched their influencer program. They're getting content in, but they're not sure if it's actually performing, right? There might be sales, attribution might be weird. What's a good way to measure how successful an influencer campaign is? Sam, can we start with you? Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like incredibly simplistic is when I do more of this, does my store grow? And I say incredibly simplistic, but also incredibly powerful, because it is exactly the same fundamentals that very complex and detailed attribution models like MMMs go off of. Just that kind of like varying efforts and varying levels of complexity. So that's point one. I think software attribution also from a place of post-purchase surveys is incredibly strong metric to be looking at. Having someone I know or influencer slash creator or someone I follow as one of the options on that post-purchase survey can be really strong from a soft attribution perspective. And then obviously directly you're looking at sales and then also content and content value. And so using tools like Refunnel, like we use in-house at our agency, to measure the value of content and the impact on that versus what would I be spending if I was paying Meta the same amount.
Beautiful. Atif, I think I accidentally silenced you. So just if you can just unmute yourself, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just going to echo what Sambhav said. Please make sure that, we see this all the time where brands start working with creators and start partnering with them on different campaigns, but they don't have like any tools in place to make sure that they're capturing all the content that these creators are posting, analyzing the impressions and the results these posts are generating, or even like just easily getting rights to that content so that they can boost that from their creator profile. So just make sure that there is you have something in place to do that. Otherwise, it's very hard to know whether the ROI on these campaigns is being effective for you. You're just going by vibes when something like this should be there are places for vibes in this industry, but there are also things that should be quantified, and this is like something that's easily taken care of these days.
Beautiful. Now, I want to, before we get into the actual like helping someone out, we'll do rapid fire questions. So we have a bunch of questions. Sam, I'm gonna give you one question. I'm gonna give you 1 minute, and then Atif, I'm gonna ask you another question, and I'm gonna give you another minute. However, if any of you guys think that the other person could answer this question better, you can just tell, like, say, I think Atif is a better fit for this question. So Sam, we'll start with you, and Ace Patel is asking, is seating, I'm guessing, product becoming more saturated slash sophisticated? For example, are you as a brand having to go to creators with less and less followers and offer more than just free product?
Great question. It's 100% becoming more saturated slash sophisticated. But where the gap is building relationships. There's a lot of brands are heavily indexed on outreach and on getting products in hands of creators and then won't do anything with them. And so like the big opportunity is that when you're outreaching as a brand, you're getting product in the hands of them, but then you're actually going back and saying, hey, how was the product? Learning about them as a person. A lot of our clients, our team will know what influencers up to on the weekend, they'll know their kids' names, etc. Just genuinely building a one-on-one relationship with them. And then that will shine through when they become an affiliate for you or when they create content for you. So I think that's the gap. It's like, yes, it's becoming more saturated. No, we're not going down in terms of follower count, but there's still a big opportunity for brands that actually commit the time to doing it right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. Then we have Adam, who asked the question at the beginning, and he says, we are a small supplement brand. We don't have customers who are influencers. Can we hire any of you to set up an influencer program for us and handle the work? I mean, that's all right.
I'm gonna defer to Sam here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, feel free to inquire via our website.
What's your website? What's your email? This is your time.
Augmentum-media.com. I'll let maybe Sharif from our team put it into the chat. But yeah, fill out the form, and I'll get to you personally. Just put in a note to say that you're from this webinar. And
you're coming in from the limited supply webinar. All right. Yeah. I have a question from Catherine, and I think Atif, you're the right guy to answer this question. She asks, can you talk about how to decide if we should do whitelisting, boosting their content, or dark posting? What I mean is we set the meta ad live and tag the creator as a paid partnership to target their audience, plus lookalike audience. but it doesn't show up on their
Yeah,
page.
yeah. Both have their places. If there is a piece of content that a creator has posted on their profile and that has got good social engagement, so it has like a good number of views coming in, even more than views, if a lot of people are commenting on it and the comments seem authentic, that is going to perform much better when it's posted from their page versus like dark posting, because there is like built-in social engagement that Facebook is going to use to target that ad much better. But if there is a piece of creative you have from a creator that and they've just sent it to you for review, they haven't shared it on their social profile, you've seen that would also be pretty effective if if it's the right creative, if the offer is right, it has all of the things that a typical ad should do, good hook, good like middle of the video, good call to action, that can also be very effective. So I would recommend like these should both be parts of the strategy that brands have when they are boosting content with creators.
Yeah, beautiful. So testing, 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 guys. Remember that testing is king, always in e-commerce and more with the Andromeda update. There's debate around that, but I mean, I'll just take it face value from what Meta says. Next question we have it from Sunit, and they ask, how much should we, wait, I'm sorry, guys. It says, how much should we be paying to get content creators to make videos for our early stage beauty company? Do you have a suggested range in mind? It's an early stage, so we are looking to understand what the benchmark numbers, are. Uh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
take this first. I don't think they should pay anything upfront other than the cost of product, which is like just get the product in the hands of creator, and then see if they're excited to work for it. Though I would say something that we are seeing work incredibly well for a lot of our businesses is taking the select number of fans that are, like let's say you gift 100 people and 60 of them post content. Um, what I would recommend is running subsequent campaigns with those creators and then offering them a percentage of spend when you whitelist their content. And so, typically the standard rates that we are seeing is, 5% of ad spend up to a max of certain amount. The reason that works really well is you're only going to pay a premium to a creator if their ad does incredibly well for you. So they're essentially becoming like this democratized creative agencies for you. But then it's okay to pay that premium because if they are producing content that is performing really well for your ads, then that's like pretty justified. We also see CPM basis as well, like CPM based rewards. So the more views the organic content generates, the more you can offer them. That also works, although that works better when you pair that with some like upfront payment as well. So like a hybrid works better when you just want to do CPMs. But with whitelisting, we are seeing percentage of ad spend perform incredibly well these days.
Yeah, 100%. And also, I would say especially early stage, just figuring out a way to introduce as much gamification as possible. I think the guys over at Refunnel do this very well. I know brands that use them use their kind of like your competition features, right? Atif around that. But one thing that works incredibly well for us, especially around Black Friday time or New Year, New Me or new product launch, is having creators win some sort of extra prize or some sort of reward if they create content that has over X amount of spend. So you might do like a percentage of whitelisting spend, but also if we spend over X amount on your ad, then we'll give you an extra Y amount of money, or we'll put you in a retainer for creating content, which you should want to do anyway if they're creating really good performing ads. And so just figuring out ways to make it a win-win, but also make it something that creators have fun with, because that's what they're in it for, can be really, really powerful when you're in an early stage.
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree with everything.
Yeah, same here. Last question, and then we'll get into the sweet part of this show. So the question is from Jared Sanders. Jared, it's nice to see you here. We haven't talked in a while. For context, and this is gonna be give more context. He has a sunglass company, and the unique value proposition about his sunglass company is the fact that they do models, but they do it in different sizes, right? So, for example, I'm right now wearing the Meta ones, and I think they fit not very good. I would rather have them be a little bit smaller. But that's what he does. He recently got into some airports and some plazas, and he's growing fast. And the question is, what do you guys see for the rate of posts versus versus seeded products? So what percentage of creators just keep the product versus the ones that actually deliver content?
Yeah, good question. When done well, I'd expect 40% to create content and produce 1.5 to 2 creatives each. So you're expecting 60 to 80 creatives for 100 gifts that you send out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, from there, you're probably looking to onboard a percentage of them onto affiliate so that they continue to create content for you. But just in that kind of like initial seeding stage, we're aiming for 60 to 80 per 100, depending on brand, depending on category, depending on region. Of course, a lot of subtlety to that.
I would also mention that there will be a percentage of creators that would just keep the product and not create content, and that's
Yeah.
fine. You gotta accept that as part of the game. There is no way to get 100% like post rates from everyone that you see products to. And it's not like it's creators' fault. Sometimes life comes in the way and they have other priorities, or they may not like your product, in which case
Mm.
it's okay if they're not posting. Um, but yeah, I think to Sam's point, like getting that 40% rate is really good. And if you can get if since those creators are gonna post multiple times, so that's what we track internally as well. It's pretty close to that.
Yeah. And like the other part within that is that the creators that posting are the creators that you want to post. Seeding is almost this kind of like organic natural selection piece when it comes to creators in terms of when I'm sending them a product, if they don't post, it's because when if they were to post, they probably wouldn't be able to say that they liked the product. Like that's why they're not posting. So the creators that are posting are actually posting so with I'd excuse the buzzword, but with authenticity, and that performs a lot better as well. So, so that's something that seeding allows you to do. It almost just filter out, okay, which are the creators that genuinely like the product.
Totally.
Yeah, and I have a friend of mine who I don't know if she's here. I see someone with her name, but she's a top 5 TikTok shop creator in Mexico. Her name is Dana. And when I was working with her, I just remember she was asking, and this is specifically for TikTok shop, for TikTok shop creators, but they have so much product. Like they ask for so much product. Their houses are just filled with products. So like naturally there's going to be delays. Naturally there's going to be some product that just doesn't they just don't do content, and that's just something that you have to keep in mind for anything regarding content. Now
Shane,
in
I'd love to share my screen if
yeah
possible and just
Mm.
give like
I
a tactical um suggestion to everyone that's watching this. Can people see my screen?
Yeah, we've got it.
Okay. This
yeah
is not for product seeding, so don't mistake this for that. But DV does a lot of seeding. They have like a big program where they're seeding a lot of creators, and then they also have an affiliate program as well. They have, I would say, like 20 or 30% of their creators that are like superstars. They just create outstanding content. This is how they motivate those creators to continuously create content, like on a recurring basis. So they build this page in Refunnel, and essentially on this page, they are able to give them like multiple challenges to choose from. Right? Think of these as competitions or prompts or whatever have you. But they're essentially just giving like creators, okay, this is like these are the different collaborations that we are offering this month. And then creators always have access to this link and they can select the ones that appeal to them. So for our creators, the spa day share might not be what they're looking for. The hair revival might speak to their interests. They can just select that, go through the full brief of that campaign, see a breakdown of how much they can earn, and then just see the example content as well that DB is looking for. So they can share both positive examples and also negative examples to give like the right context to the creators.
mm,
And this works tremendously work for them in just helping them build a flywheel that they can constantly use to source content from. And a lot of this content then becomes their ad creatives as well. So I would highly recommend everyone to have like something like this in place. This is not step one. This only works if you have a community that is a fan of your product. So you wouldn't do this for product seeding, but you would do this if you already have like creators that have created content for you, and now you want to give them other opportunities to continually create more content.
yeah, that's beautiful. And I was just right about to go into that. So in the next 5 minutes, we're gonna bring some of any of you that wants to ask a question. You can get like these guys are doing millions, right? They know what they're talking about, and so this is the chance where you ask your questions, where you leave that shame out of the window. You just throw that out and you ask those questions right now. So if this is you, drop a message in the chat. You can send me a private chat, and then we can just figure it out. But before we get into that, these guys, they took time out of their days. I want to give each 2 minutes just to tell us about your agency, your company, and just why they should go with you. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty stuff. All right,
Yes,
Sam.
just to recap. Oh, Sam, go first.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was going to say, our elevator pitch is a hell of a lot shorter than 2 minutes, so I'm not sure I need 2 minutes. But very simply, most agencies that we know, without bashing anyone, are similar to kind of the software space in terms of they're overly bloated and charge you a lot of money for not very much output. We realized very early on that through investment into systems and the right tech partners, like the guys over at Refunnel, we could build programs that are incredibly efficient internally and then pass that cost saving back to clients. It's what allows us to not just work with the large brands that we do, but also work with brands that are kind of early stage of their journey, which is something that's kind of like really close to my heart and really important for me, having gone through a pretty serious health journey myself. So yeah, if you're running anything influencer, but in particular influencer seeding and affiliate within the health and wellness space, then I think my LinkedIn and website are both in the comments. Sharif put them in, so feel free to check us out.
Beautiful. And what are the what's your ideal customer for you? Like, speak to the people inside of this call and just let them know if it makes sense to work with you or not. Just what's
Yeah.
that specific, I guess, ICP for you?
Yeah, for us at the moment, it is fast growing brand, usually doing 3-5 mil plus annual rev plus 3-5 plus mil in annual rev. Typically have got to from either that to around kind of like 50 to 100. Typically pretty time poor, and most importantly, is in a position that a lot of brands aren't at that stage in terms of Meta is kind of like getting on the nerves a bit. Meta's the kind of algorithmic changes and also just lack of diversification from other channels is becoming a bit of a pain point internally, and so they're looking at channels like influencer, but don't have the systems to build out those seeding programs in house.
Beautiful. And then one last question is just in 10 seconds, tell us one awesome case study that you have for your agency.
Yeah, we've got really big logos that I could shout about, but to be perfectly honest, one of my proudest is actually a brand that's probably a bit more mid-market. We started working with a brand called Fussy in the UK, sustainable deodorant brand. When they were 7-8 mil in annual rev, they're now looking like mid 8 figures. We built their seeding and affiliate program from the ground up. And Disha on our team has done a fantastic job there. I don't think she's on this call at the moment. And yeah, we built them to kind of 10 million plus impressions at a sub £6 or sub $10 CPM, 10,000 plus new customers, all through links and codes alone, at around like a 5x new customer ROAS, and 10,000 creatives for their ad account as well. So yeah, super cool case study, one that we're really proud of.
Beautiful. So if you want to work with Sam, we just left the links down below. Just click it, lurk his profile, just send him a connection. And if you're not ready yet, reach out to him when you are. And if you're ready right now, then this is the moment to reach out. This is the last moment you could or should reach out if you want to just crush Q4. Atif, over to you. You can share your screen. You can do whatever you want. This is your moment.
Yeah, I mean, so Refunnel provides a tool to help businesses build their UGC programs and also manage all the content that their creators post about them. Our ideal ICP is generally businesses that have at least 5 million in revenue annually. We find that those businesses generally have the budgets that influencer partnerships typically require to succeed. We do work with new businesses that are coming up that are very committed to launch with creators, but we ask for minimum 3-month commitment in those cases because that's the minimum amount of time it's going to take for them to see early results. But yeah, I mean, we work with Sam and several like influencer agencies to help brands and agencies manage their creative programs. We do have an offer for everyone in the audience. We are offering Refunnel completely free until the end of the year. So if anyone is on the fence, wants to try it out, and see how it's going to work for them, and they're committed to really like give it their best with creators, we have like the sweet deal for everyone that might want to sign up for it.
Atif, walk us through what does Refunnel do? What are the features? What are the benefits for any brand that it wants to use Refunnel? Do they save time? Do they save money? Do they get more content? Walk us through that.
It's a little
All
bit
of
of
the
both.
above. Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. I'll give you like a quick 30-second overview. So we offer three different products. They all work in unison together. This is like Ridge account. Ridge is like this wallet in the US. A lot of people might be familiar with them. And they use Refunnel for all of these reasons. So they want to collect all the content that people are posting about them. Generally, when you're seeding, a lot of content is going to be stories, and stories disappear on Instagram in 24 hours. So you want to wait for people to, or you want to wait for your internal teams to be able to see all this content so you don't miss out. If you're missing out on all this content, it's really hard to accurately like create reporting on how these campaigns for you are performing. So that's one thing we do for them. The second thing we do for them is this is how Ridge does product gifting. So they create this landing page with us. And then on this page, there is like instructions for creators on what they need to do. You might see something interesting here, which is any creator that claims a free product for them and hits over 50,000 views, they just give them $200 in cash. So not only are creators getting a wallet that's worth $200, but they're also getting $200 additional once they hit like over 50K views. And this is how creators would pick the product, right? It's a very simple like selector where, let's say as a creator, this color resonates with me. I'll pick this product. I'll enter my contact information and shipping information. In the backend, this creates an order in Shopify, right? So it just streamlines the back and forth that you would otherwise have to do with creators, and simplifies this experience. The last thing we do is we help them run whitelisting as well. So let's say you want to whitelist a creator and run ads from their pages. In the past, this was a mess. You had to have access to a creative business manager. In the business manager, they would go through a series of steps to make you a partner. We have eliminated that workflow. So not only is now this just a one-step workflow, but creators don't even need a Facebook page or a business manager for this to work. So they just sign up with their email and their Instagram. Once they click on this button, they get a notification in their inbox from Ridge, which would say, hey, we would love to partner with you and run ads from your pages. Do you give us permission? And typically they would say yes. And then this is the offer for those creators, right? So Ridge is offering 5% commission or 5% commission on ad spend, to any creator that signs up for this program. And so this just ensures that this page has like over 98% approval rate, because who wouldn't want to be part of like a campaign like this where they can monetize with the content that they have already created for Ridge, right? So those are the three services that we offer together in unison. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. I think nobody right now, don't be shy. Don't be shy. All right, but if nobody wants to come in, I think we had a couple of brands that we wanted to like break down how they were doing their stuff. So I mean, I'll give Sam, you can take 5 minutes to just break it down, and then Atif, you can also take 5 minutes to break down what you think is working, what you think is not working. And Sam, if you want to share your screen, please do. The floor is now yours.
Yeah, nice one. Let me share my screen and just whip up the example that I've got at the moment. I think just after that conversation right there, probably best to do one which has been hosted on Refunnel. So here's an example of Juve. I believe they submitted a form beforehand. And yeah, they basically wanted an audit of their affiliate program or their UGC campaign. I think this looks more like. I think like this sort of thing transparently is really, really good. Like this is a 7, 8 out of 10.
Sam, can I ask you a question? And I'm sorry for interrupting. Is there a way that like can you like maybe disconnect your headphones and use like your in-computer microphone? Because it like we can hear, but I think it's not crystal clear as we would love to, as everyone would love to. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Cool, nice. Yeah, so what I'm going to do just across this like really quick look is highlight what's going well as much as what's not, just because I think they've done a really, really good job to start with. This clearly looks like a kind of like more campaign-led program, similar to what Atif just ran through. Big focus on like how much content can we generate for ads. And so what's really important is
the like your mission challenge details. Transparently, just from our testing at the moment, I think this is potentially a bit raw. You do want to give creators as much creative freedom as possible, but the one thing that this is missing is inspiration videos. I don't know if they're anywhere else on the page. I don't think so, but having inspiration videos linked here or some sort of kind of like display would be incredible, because creators are visual learners as well. They want to see other content.
Yeah,
to
Sam, we
produce.
can we can support like inspiration videos. This particular campaign chose to not include it, which we do not recommend, but it's generally on brands to decide how they want to
Nice.
structure this. But you can put inspiration videos here.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. So kind of if anyone from Juve is in the audience, I think that's number one thing that I would implement straight away. Just provide some inspiration videos, and importantly, highlight why you're including these inspiration videos. I think that's something that brands don't do enough. They'll give you 5 videos, 10 videos that they particularly like, but they might not say why. And as a creator, it leaves you slightly confused. So that's one thing that I would 100% add in here. Aside from that, I think just having one more layer maybe of gamification, and again, it might be on this program, it just wasn't linked on the forum, but aside from specific just reward for post, also having layers of if you create X number of videos, or if our team particularly likes your video, then they receive an extra prize, is an incredible way to just have two layers of gamification and get more content out of the same program. So those are probably the 2 tactical things that I would include here. Aside from that, this is a really, really good start. Having private submissions versus public submissions is an incredibly strong way to make sure that you include creators that don't particularly want to say that they're creating content for you just yet for whatever reason. I'm really clear, like, how do I get paid? Should I include my affiliate link? How will I use my content? All really, really clear. So that would be the kind of like the only feedback I have on this particular page.
Shane, I need to,
Yeah.
no, I think you touched on a lot of those points. And since this page was created, we have done several changes to the structure of this page to make those process clear. So to your point, like, it's not enough. We have since learned that it's not enough to just include inspiration videos. You also want to call out why a video is successful and also why a video is not successful. And we can now support that. But this is great. I do want to apologize, guys. Shane, I do have a hot stop now, so I'm gonna step out, and but you guys can continue for for a bit longer.
Yeah, Atif, thank you. Yeah, you're good. Just you want to say what's your email for anyone that wants to send you an email for the offer for this call?
Yeah, my email is atif@refunnel.com. If you go to refunnel.com and book some time with us, we'll make sure that you get taken care of. Just mention in the booking link that you found us through limited supply webinar, and we'll make sure we'll take care of you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, Atif, thank you for joining.
All right.
Sam, you're down to do one more and then we'll just call it a day.
Yeah, let's do one more. I do need to run for my train in a second as well.
Oh, okay. If you can't, that's totally fine.
We can do one more for sure.
Beautiful.
I'm just picking out one from the list that you sent across. Yeah, okay, this is a great example. So here is, I know I'm not sharing my screen just yet, but I'm just going to copy this, and just so that my notifications don't get in the way, if you can share your screen on this page, that would be awesome.
Beautiful. Yes, I will. Let's see. I'll sit down now. I hope nobody minds me sitting down for this section of the.
It's an hour of standing.
Dude, it's you gotta do what you gotta do. Let me share the screen.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. Just walk me through if you need. Can you see it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the first thing that I picked up when I saw this page, is that this is a collabs page. However, the pop-up that I believe is I imagine is website wide, still seems to apply on the collabs page. So that's something that I would remove. I would remove the pop-up because they're being treated like a customer here. So now if you click X, you'll get into that kind of like actual collabs page. Yeah, this page has essentially the base. It has the like, who are we? Let's work together. It has a bit of visual, obviously could be designed slightly better, but typically not too picky around design, just because, to be perfectly honest, your offer matters more than anything when it comes to affiliates. I like the multiple different partnership opportunities. I think that's important. If you could scroll up, and I love the Q&A actually, or the kind of like chat bot at the bottom. But I've not actually clicked apply now, but let's click apply now and let's see where it takes us. Okay, cool. So I think this takes us to Shopify collabs. Now I'm not going to ask you to submit from here, but I think that the number one thing that was missing on that first page, if you want to go back there, is just like, what is the offer? What are you actually providing an affiliate? Whether that's free product on a monthly basis, whether that's commission, whether that's discount. Obviously it mentions roughly kind of discount codes and partnership opportunities there, but that needs to be called out a bit more. And then also going really, really hard on community. This brand in particular, I feel feels slightly on the smaller side. What you really want to be doing is focusing on, you will be part of a close-knit community that is supporting country life. We will add you into a group chat, maybe we will talk to you one-on-one, maybe you jump on calls with all affiliates as well. But yeah, figuring out a way to get across that kind of like small brand community mentality is something else that I would push through here.
Beautiful. I think they do have like a small community, but I mean, it would be a matter of like asking them how that is working. But yeah, I don't wanna take any more of your time. If you're still here, thank you for joining. We had a blast. If you want to chat with Sam, the links are below. If you want to chat with Refunnel, the links are below. The emails are below. Everything is below. If you have any question, drop me a message in the Slack community. This will have the recording is going to be in the stop. I'm sorry. There's notification. It's crazy. There's going to be a recording in the next 48 hours, maybe on Monday, to be totally transparent. But yeah, guys, thank you for much for joining. I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.